Hey, Dina, if you could pop over to the laptop, and I think you have to consent to the live viewing. Should just be a button click. I'm on a 12-second delay, so hold on. Yep, we're good to go.
Call the meeting to order at 5:33. Got an update on the board of trustees. New-ish and new. Returning board member, Michelle. Yep. Thank you, Dudley. Joining the board. Looks like we're gonna update the bank signature card and take the oath of office in next month's meeting. And once the two new, that's the last of the new ones, right? So all of the newer ones, all four, or well, three, I guess you already have. Yeah. We'll take the training.
So technically, Hannah's term doesn't end until the 27th of August. And this is such a big meeting with the playground folks and everything. And we wanted to have her input and her ability to vote, but we also want Dudley here too. Yes, because he has a lot of suggestions and ideas. So if everybody's okay, we're going to hold off on the oath until for Michelle as well.
Oh, it's like it again, yeah.
Every time.
Every
time.
Yeah. She looks nervous now. Between them.
I'll have to think about it.
No, and I know this is like, I know we're throwing new people in, like, with a lot, and we've not had any training or anything yet. We just hang in there. Hey, Bethany, no, you're fine. Come join us. Michelle, could you pass that agenda down for her? So I know that there's not been a lot of training or instructions on it for new trustees, but as soon as we get everybody on board, I will have more information than you want. And lots of training videos. So today I really just need your input, your ideas, and your vote. And I promise we won't break any laws or lead you astray. So
We need a motion to approve the minutes from the July 2020 meeting.
I'll make the motion. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion needed to approve the checklist and financial statement for 2021, unless anyone has any questions on it.
I'll make the motion that we approve the checklist and financial statements for July.
All in favor?
Aye.
Michelle, I did check on that return, the check that's outstanding for AT for 360, and I can't get
They haven't
any
answered
answer. They've been bought out, and so I'm guessing that there's something going on, so I can probably just cancel that.
AT&T?
ADT, it's our
ADT.
alarm system company.
Are you being monitored at the moment?
Our sprinkler system is.
Oh, okay.
Looks like the year-end actual report was submitted for the DLG. Quick, some additional public comments, since there's no public hearing. Tax rates.
All right, so I got the tax rate certified with the county and then mailed all the appropriate paperwork to the state. So that is taken care of. The only thing I haven't done was put our notice in the newspaper that those have been filed, and we have to list our trustees and make their addresses known and everything. And I will do that probably these next week, now that we have all of our trustees in place. So, get that done. So the trustee tip this month was pretty important. It was on the Kentucky Open Records and Open Meetings Act. And hopefully everybody got that large policy. That is one of the documents that you'll live by as a trustee. Many of the records that we produce in the library are open record, and we have to be transparent and make those available to the public. So the biggest changes to that policy, though, is that it limits it to residents of the Commonwealth of Kentucky can make those open records requests. It used to be open to everybody nationwide or wherever in the world. So they're limiting that, and that there's other there's some exceptions, and that's in the handbook. We also they've increased the time we have to respond to them. We used to have 3, now we have 5 days. And that means that I just have to respond from, hey, we got your request. I don't have to provide all that information in that time frame. The Attorney General has also created a standardized form for us that we have to adopt. We've already put it on our website. And so that is available, but we cannot require them to use that specific form and deny requests that they didn't, if that makes sense. So with all of those policies in that form, we also have to have an internal policy. So luckily, the state, the Kentucky Libraries and Archives, Kentucky Department of Libraries and Archives, created a policy regarding these new changes, and everybody should have received a draft copy of that in their should the Open Records Retention Policy draft. That is pretty much copied verbatim from the state's website, and just a few adjustments to tailor it towards our library, but no laws or policies have been changed. We can table this so that you have time to read over the handbook and everything, so you guys feel comfortable in making creating a new policy, or we can trust the state and go ahead and adopt the policy today. Did you have a chance to read it?
I make the motion that we, can we do that?
Is there any discussion on it? Like on the draft of this policy? Did everyone have a chance to read it? The Open Records and Records Retention Policy. It basically says how we're going to handle records requests, which is in line with the state handbook.
They wrote the handbook and then wrote the policy.
And
I feel
then-
like it's probably pretty in line, and
Yeah.
said that we would change it.
Yeah. Terry Manuel is a lawyer. He is the head state librarian. Well, he has a law degree, he's not practicing lawyer. He wrote this policy. I feel very confident that Terry Manuel knows what he's talking about. And I've read through it several times. I feel confident in this policy.
Michelle, you wanna make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we pass the open records request retention policy.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We can mark that off our list.
Policy you didn't have to
I know,
write.
it's fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, so we are kind of getting we've been in the red zone in the county for a while, and I think we just need to talk about mass policies. And I'm coming to you at this time because I'm so burnt out, and I probably shouldn't say that in front of the camera, but I am done making decisions regarding COVID, and I'm done trying to make everybody happy. And so our state does not have a mask mandate for libraries. Our county government does not have a mask mandate. And so you guys are the governing body of our library right now, and I'm gonna leave that decision up to you. I've had some discussions with staff, and most of them are on board with doing what we need to do to stay open and keep people safe. Do you want to require staff to wear masks in all parts of the building? Do you want to mandate that staff wear out in public areas? Do you not want a mask mandate at all?
I think maybe follow any other county or state rules that come in as far as libraries and if the county comes in and says that, masks can be worn in public buildings.
And that's the problem of it, all libraries are doing different things now.
Yes.
I kind of think we should follow what the school's doing, because the kids are the ones, are they the ones that use the library the most, or is it more adult
Everybody,
parents?
we get all ages, all different, opinions, ideas,
Are
health
we-
issues.
Are we able to keep our distance? First of all, is the staff's able to socially distance when they're working in the back?
I am like by myself, I'm in a cave.
Yeah,
For the most part, yes, ventilation isn't great in staff area. And I don't know how to improve it other than putting fans, and then that just blows everything. I've been in the fan all day because we have no HVAC in that room, so my eye do it. But, so,
our church just got 3, we have the, thing that's within the HVAC that puts out, cleaning for the air, but we also just purchased 3, they're little black boxes that are air purifiers that they put like in the choir room, and the youth didn't have any kind of air filtration, so they got it in the youth building and one in the lobby. What if we got something like that for the staff area?
we can try that.
It's supposed to cover 3,000 square feet, one.
Okay, if you could give me a link for that or, maybe
Okay.
what is working, because honestly, some things work and some don't. You can spend a lot of money on.
Yeah, I mean, they just got them, so, I saw it last night, but that might be a suggestion, not for the building, but just for you all back there where you don't have to be so stuffy and
Right.
wear them.
Any discussion on it? I do think that our obligations, as a business and as a government entity, number one, we have to follow laws and authoritative sources. And we are liable for who enters this building and employees. And that's, I think it's at times a heavy burden to bear for all of us.
We're finding that out in the schools as well. so.
Is the courthouse,
I
are
don't-
they mandate, the courthouse is not mandating masks right now?
I think
They are. You have to wear a mask now. I have court on Monday. I
I'm
have to
pretty
wear a
sure
mask in the
we
courtroom.
did.
It may just be the courtroom though. I think last year was just the courtroom, not when you just went in the building.
That being said, with how we handled masks last time, we did not approach anybody. We offered them a mask who came in the building. We did not force anybody or refuse service who would not put a mask on.
So why don't we just make them optional?
Yeah,
They're
if you
optional.
could- if you put a sign up that just says recommended.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good.
Recommended is the
Because
way
that's
I
what-
would
Because that,
go.
that
But a
way
lot
you're
of them-
stating,
lot
I
of-
recommend, we as a
Yes.
library recommend that you wear a mask.
A lot
Unless
of
there's a
this-
mandate,
This is
I'm of the
right,
opinion,
that's
unless
what I'm
there's a state or
saying.
county mandate, I don't think we should be.
Does the
Yeah.
staff feel comfortable not having masks on around each other, but yet, are they wanting to have masks on when they go out to help people?
For the most part, yes, they're, they feel comfortable. Here's my thing though, is that even if you've been vaccinated, you could still get sick from this new variant. So last year we had policies in place, the emergency paid sick leave, which gave staff members 2/3 of their pay for up to 12 weeks. I only had maybe 3 people use that sick leave, the rest of my, so we have not been hit with this. We also did the emergency paid sick leave, which they got 2 weeks paid COVID leave. Those benefits ended the end of June, and we have not reinstated those. I do have 1 or 2 employees that 2 weeks of sick leave is not gonna hurt them at all if they have to use their own. I have employees, especially my part-time staff, who get sick. They don't get a paycheck for 2 weeks. So if we want to extend that benefit, I told my staff, I said, our board, if we ask them to extend that benefit for us, are they gonna put some requirements in place with masks or? So think about that as well. We need to make sure that we're doing our part to stay healthy and do preventative measures as well. Which we do, we're hand washing, we try to stay distance, but I think we've gotten a little bit relaxed, which everybody has, I think. But
Or are you saying that you're willing to help people who are off if they've already been vaccinated or they're wearing a mask regularly? Like, is that what you're thinking?
when you mean helping
I'm trying to-
provide that, we cannot, if we provide this, if we say, yes, we're gonna provide this extended benefits, we cannot say only to those who are vaccinated. No, that's,
Because I
that
know
would,
there's places that aren't.
that would be, illegal. That would probably result in a lawsuit. I checked on that, that was a discussion we've had.
But we can say, we're only extending this to people who follow the mask guidelines.
Yeah,
Well, we can say that.
we are in our place. And they're not getting the COVID leave anymore either. Anybody who gets it has to take their own. sick
Yeah,
leave.
so libraries are split, some are extending benefits, some are not. But a lot of other libraries have a higher vaccination rate in their counties than we do. We do, yeah, I don't know where we're at, but last time I checked, we were at 30%, 30-something%. So we're exposing our employees to unvaccinated individuals, which I know I don't want to get into a discussion on whether you agree with them or not. I don't think that's the time or place.
Well, saying that unvaccinated people are at risk, I think is wrong too. Because, I mean, unvaccinated people aren't sick, aren't spreading disease, so.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's gonna have their own opinion on that. We all do, and we've all had coming from a different place and a different experience. We all are. You got an hour, I'll sit down and talk with you about mine. So, but, if you bring it back, what are we legally required to do? What is legal? What is gonna be the best for our staff?
Honestly, I'm vaccinated, but I still don't believe that it is something that should be forced on everyone. We are all entitled to our own rights.
No,
But
we can't.
at the same time, I don't think that vaccinated or unvaccinated should enter into any decision that we make.
I don't think it really can.
No, I don't think
Okay.
it's, yeah, and that should, it doesn't matter. So that kind of, I think, the vaccine thing, a lot of places are, if you are at work and you don't wear a mask and you end up with COVID, you're getting no extra benefit at all.
Karen, do you have any input on this? You're kind of quiet over there.
Well, I feel like if the employees take every precaution themselves, you can't really govern what the population is going to do. And I think that to mandate a mask, if you do mandate masks, and then someone comes in and they get sick anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so what
It's a catch-22, so. Or if you don't mandate it and somebody gets sick, then they're gonna say, well, then nobody will, wear masks and everything. So I think that our biggest responsibility right now is to the staff. I'm not saying we don't care about the general public, because we do, but if the staff takes all the precautions that they can possibly take, which you all been doing all this time.
Yeah, except for masks, so we haven't been doing, when the mask mandate lifted, we stopped.
Right, but I'm speaking of from here forward. But if you do that and show
Due diligence,
due diligence, that's the word.
you need to take care of it, that's important. I think that's
And
any health
keep your
issue.
hand washing stations and your sanitizing things the way they were. I don't know if anybody here's had this new variant or not, but I'm the one people that I know who have had it are not, and were not nearly as sick as the initial round of this stuff. So they may be less cautious in my opinion. I don't know.
Okay, so am I hearing that you guys want to make more of a recommendation to staff and the public to wear a mask?
I would,
And
you
not
can
mandated?
recommend it, that's not gonna hurt anything. If you mandate it, then, you're gonna have, it's the same thing that the schools are facing. You're gonna have a lot of outcry and a lot of,
We've gotten both. We've got people coming in who are upset that we're not wearing masks. We've got people there and we can't please everybody.
at least we're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
so it's just, and I don't want to spend any more time on this, so does anybody want to file, just, we don't need a motion, right? We're gonna, it's my understanding that we're gonna, that staff take their due diligence to take care of their health. It's recommended that they wear a mask, but because I don't want to be a policeman for my staff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion on the emergency paid sick leave or extended family and medical leave? Do you want to extend those benefits or no?
I think that goes with, yeah, like you just said, they are taking the responsibility of their own health on themselves. And if they
So if
choose
they
not to
don't,
wear a mask and they did it, then there are consequences to that.
so you don't want to extend the benefits?
That's just happening. I'm out today. So y'all-
I tend to agree though, that, you know, it's,
but if we would put ourselves in their place, then we would think, oh, no, we didn't wear a mask this one day, and now we've got it, and now.
and then now we get 2 weeks
Hey.
without pay.
Yeah, so,
I agree with that also. It's one of those, another catch-22 situation. I think that there should be some benefit. I don't know if maybe it should be as aggressive as it was previously, because pretty much it was,
Well, we don't have to do both. If you think that, 80 hours of paid sick leave is, you want to extend that benefit. I will tell you, if we get sick and there's not enough staff, we gotta shut down and we've got to pay them anyways because we're closed. It's in our emergency procedures, but they're covered with that. So, but we also, if somebody gets, it might be just one or two that get sick and then they're home for 2 weeks.
is it stated COVID only?
And are they, what happens if they're quarantined, if they're just exposed and they don't have it?
So in the past, last year, what we did is they did quarantine. I think the quarantine time is reduced now. It's like
Yeah.
maybe 7 to 10 days. We would follow whatever the guidelines were for that day. And if we could give them work from home and we would make sure, they had a hotspot and computer, they would work from home. If they could not, like some of our front desk, trying to find them tasks to do at home for a long period of time is unreasonable. So, but because we're telling them to quarantine, stay home, we still have to pay them.
I do think we should extend sick leave. That's my opinion.
The
But-
2 weeks, but not the,
Yeah.
not the 12 weeks.
Now, well, but the 2 weeks out, I would say, yes.
Any more discussion on that? Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion and extend it to the 2-week period.
I'll second.
Sure, baby. I appreciate that. I know that there are some who are part-timers who don't have a lot of sick leave, so I appreciate that. So our staff is doing well. Even though we don't have a lot of people coming in the building, we are still working on inventory, with cross-training. Programmers are getting programs ready to start in September. Lots of education stuff. Hunter Consley's finishing up his last class for his master's. Kalani Grove, she's doing great. She's working on her bachelor's degree in library science. And Lauren Tunnell is working on her bachelor's in education. Savannah is working on her associate's degree. So it's great to work with a lot of people who value education. Appreciate that. I have signed up for a human resource course. That is part of one of my goals for the year, is to complete that training and hopefully get certified by the end of the year. So, our building, our HVAC is still down in the kids' room and also in the director's office. We're waiting for parts. There's not anything that can do to hurry that along. It's been over a month and a half, probably.
You have in there?
Of a fan.
There's a mobile thing, AC unit we can get you or something.
Yeah.
Do those windows open? We'll get you a window unit. That's
I
fine.
don't know, they don't open. Yeah, because my cheeks were a bit rosy today all day, and my hair is usually like, my eyes are red, but I've been through worse, so. Our pavilion it was pushed back, to September 1st for Gosman. We did, finally get final quotes in for the playground. I put a notice in the Louisville Courier for sealed bids. That was placed a day or two after our last board meeting. And we also attached the notice and specifications to our webpage. So we did our due diligence to try to make it as public as we could and make it as fair as we could. If you need a copy of that, I've got one right here. We had one response from that notification that we did not reach out to earlier, which was surprisingly great. The quote is a good one. And I also reached out to the last three vendors that we worked with back in the spring to have a new quote. And so everybody got a quote back in. So there's a lot of information, so I tried to organize it as much as you can, because I've got a stack about like that of quotes and information. So I'm trying to cut it down for you guys so we can. That's it. This is a cost comparison sheet that has all of the vendors across the board. All of the playgrounds had 4 slides, 1 spiral slide, a climber, and 2 spring riders. Those were all included in this quote, and some of them included a few other extra features. So we're going to go through the first one from Creative Recreational. That was the one that the vendor that we liked initially.
The one that looks like our logo.
Yep. They are the first one on the cost comparison sheet.
The one that looks like the trees is the first one.
It's the first one. It's also the most expensive.
What did you say, you got the first one?
So the creative recreational, this was the one that we all kind of were,
Like that?
yeah, well, they couldn't get the exact playground that we wanted, so they switched it out to a different one that was similar.
Mhm.
So that change was made. We were able to get all of the requirements in except for we asked for maybe some ideas on a foam pad area. And let's see, they gave me 2, I think, one without and one with. Safety tiles, yes. So they did quote us safety tiles. Just that 25 by 20 for them was gonna cost $13,000. So as you can see, the bid is really, really high, and I actually took off some things that I thought were really just out there. So I whittled this quote down as much as I could without making it different from the other quotes. I also I have not found a location for this where they're located. It wasn't on our paperwork, and I didn't have time to go to their website to have it down. I think just from talking with them, shipping is going to be a huge part, and it's not quoted separate. I think shipping is a huge part of the costs in this.
Is the quote include the inches and stuff that we discussed?
Yeah,
Is that the 8-foot metal on the
Yeah.
6-foot metal?
yeah, and I didn't include the pictures on there. I honestly not feeling it for this, and I let the staff vote on it too, and they actually, I think we got 1 or 2 votes for that. 'Cause it's- I think they looked at the other proposals and. All right, is it, so we need any more time on that one? They're also requiring, they want us to put down pea gravel, a layer of pea gravel, and the other vendors are not. And I called them today and they said you shouldn't need that layer of pea gravel if your property is level. Is that, I was hoping you knew about that. Is that true?
That I do not know about, and the reason that I don't is because we've always built on top of existing playgrounds that were already level, but now we didn't have to put any pea gravel in.
Okay.
So, that is probably right,
Okay.
because considering we didn't have to, we were building on existing level areas.
So, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we can accept a quote, a full quote today as is. We could cross out things and accept it as, as amended, or we can reject all quotes. We are not bound by anything today. So the next one, this was the vendor who reached out to us. He saw the notification in the paper and got the quote together very quickly. I'm very impressed with him and how he handled everything. This package was incredible. This is a different equipment. Is not metal. It's from recycled plastic.
Oh, we're down to,
So
we're down to.
we just have one here.
We can show
That's all right, we can change it. I've got the cost of mirrors on there. So that is, I guess, for like steps and stuff. This would be for panels. That's the material that panels would be made out of. And this would be for the beams. And this thing is
For the what?
for beams.
You said that would be for these would be for the lead?
Panel, the side panels.
Yes.
And things.
I wonder how that weather is like, is it better than?
This is like that composite stuff, I guess.
Like, will it
Polyethylene.
fade?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like sometimes how plastic will fade if it's been in the sun.
They have a 15-year lifetime warranty on that.
Okay.
And this is
Wow,
what-
that is heavy.
It's a polyethylene,
No, I mean, what is this sample for?
steps and beams and probably side panels for the bigger ones.
That's the Playtopia.
Mhm.
That's
And they're from
Playtopia.
Kentucky.
They are from Kentucky, which I love.
I like that.
Oh, I
too.
like all the shape things. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wasn't really a big fan where they placed the larger shade, but that, he did say that he would come to the site, he would measure everything, make sure it was accurate before they placed an order, and that because it's not metal, it's not set in stone, on site, they can adjust and move and as needed to fit the property, which that was cool. The shades were still expensive, and if we wanted to get rid of that larger shade, we could, and just go with the two smaller shades. The rubber mulches is a little expensive. We could maybe reach out to a local place to see if we could have that delivered and look at that, because their mulch seemed a little bit higher than the other quotes. They did not require gravel. It did the spring riders and the balance beams and a teeter totter. They only thought that 6 benches would fit in that space provided. So there's not 8. But I don't think I've ever had a bench or playground where there's been 6 8-foot benches too.
$9,000 for mulch is not near as bad as, they paid 27,000, upwards of almost 30,000 for whatever they're putting at the park.
Yeah.
Really? Is it a lot bigger section?
I didn't think, I mean,
Because LG&E paid for the equipment and the county had to pay for the mulch, and they were comparable of like $27,000 to $28,000 each. I didn't see it being any bigger than this.
Well,
So,
that's the cost of probably around 2,000 pounds of mulch.
Is the $4.80, is that like a square foot, or what is that?
Are you looking at the quote?
Yes.
That might, I'm not sure, it just, I think it's
So
just
the quantity
listed.
of 1,936 and then
Pounds.
480 over here, I didn't know if that was like a square foot or what the
19.
measurement was on that.
1930.
On the
Surface,
quote for
yeah.
installed surface, it says per foot square.
It's the surface, yeah.
It's 1,936 feet square.
I'm not sure why it's, but they sent samples. Yeah, they were on it. They were
They're
really
on it.
cool. They're like, we can get different colors of this mulch. They do not recommend the rubber mulch. They're like, we want you to do wood fiber, but I don't want to have to replace it every.
they don't recommend the mulch?
They don't like it.
Why? Wow. Do they give a reason?
Maybe that's
They like
why
the
it's
wood
so much
fiber.
more expensive than the others.
Is the wood a lot, so we don't have a quote with that
I think the quote was about $5,000
for the wood?
for the wood, but you're every 2 to 3 years, you're gonna have to be refilling your playground.
The only thing I will say about the rubber is like when we're out playing in it, there's some around the train park there in Campbellsburg. If you wear white tennis shoes or white anything, it's black when you get home.
That's what
I will say, I don't know if that's why they don't like it, or like you said, it's a retail situation, but it gets hot and it's still
Dyes in it.
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
buy
I
new
agree.
tennis shoes all the time.
Sticks to your socks, but you know, that gets in your socks too, the wooden.
I was gonna say, the wood mulch, I'm not a huge fan
Yeah.
of, because
Yeah.
it's like, I'm thinking, when I feel it, I'm like splinters. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
But when you
Is it-
fall off a piece of equipment and a kid falls onto the wooden mulch,
Yes,
Right.
I'm like,
I'd rather fall on rubber.
yeah, let's do, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. That was the staff that,
That this group,
yes, that was the staff that,
And this is the color scheme of the,
we can choose, they have different colors, we could do whatever we want, if you wanna let my staff pick the color scheme and feel comfortable in doing that. Trust their judgment.
kind of look like it matches the building, right?
I think only I think I would just recommend that just the shades be maybe, I don't know, we could do blue or whatever, or if you like green, super green.
the stuff that they created.
We have a very talented staff. Should be great. Okay,
I like that they're from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I will give him an A+ as a salesman and a just personable, not high pressure. So,
And they had the initiative to give you a quote.
yeah, and they got it ready in less time than all of these people had one already pre-made.
But they're saying their lead time to install is 12 to 16 weeks?
As far as they can control right now,
Right.
because we all know that shipping and everything is up in the air.
And the creative didn't give you a lead time.
They did not. They also didn't quote all of these spring riders and balance beams, or if they did, it's included another cost, I don't know. This one was submitted at the 5:30 last night. I stayed till 8 to get all this stuff to get together, so I didn't reach out. I honestly, with seeing the price and everything, I just not feeling it.
I was gonna say, I'm not as happy with that one as I was when we first saw it,
Right.
you know?
It looks like they're from Ohio.
Are they high?
Dent, Ohio, Creative Recreational Systems, Inc.
They also didn't submit a full, all the specifications that I asked for. I asked for warranty information and standards, certifications, and that wasn't submitted. It was just this.
So
Kentucky
Kentucky
people
did
did.
give you warranty info?
Yes,
Okay.
all the warranty info is on the back, so The warranty information is pretty comparable to everything. Looks like it's standard across the industry. And then they met all of the safety standards, the ASTM, IPMA, also ADA, and then they also are regulated, or they work with a government entity, to CPSC. That's also, they're certified through them as well.
So when we looked at the equipment from Creative, did we think that that equipment would accommodate a little bit older children as well? There was something we liked about that much better.
It was labeled, it was labeled 2 to 12, but we thought of it tailored little kids more.
Yeah.
Because this one to me looks like kindergartners.
Right,
This
yeah.
one looks to me like.
Yeah, it looks like it's more tailored, although they did say I had them add a spiral slide to the structure, and they said if you do that, you're raising the age limit to 5 to 12. And I'm like, I've seen 2-year-olds
Well, sure.
climb
Oh,
on
yeah.
top of that and jump off. I don't, we have to post that, this is the recommended age, but you're not gonna be able to go out there and regulate people on that equipment. Do you have concerns about that? About just,
I was just thinking that this one, I thought it was more inclusive as far as the age limit. What age limits are we talking
2
about?
to 12, I think what we were going for.
So, I mean,
That's a long span.
that is a long span, and when I look at this, I don't see a 12-year-old playing on it, but what do you all think?
I don't, my
I don't think
kids
any
stopped
12-year-old
really wanting to go to the
plays.
playground around 9 or
Yeah,
10.
I was going to say mine is probably 8 to 10. He would if like a bunch of friends or something were going, but
Yeah,
he never asked to go to the playground.
That
anymore.
was my only
Yeah.
observation on that one. So,
and I don't think it's gonna be a big draw for tweens or
No.
yeah, that's-
it's gonna be for the younger kids and families. you know.
We'll be in the awesome team room. While the other brothers and sisters are playing.
All right, you guys ready to look at another quote? Okay, this is Beyond Your Ordinary. They're out of Florida.
They give you a shipping quote or is their shipping cost 0?
They said that the shipping cost would be free if we ordered by August 31st. And if we'd also, in order to get the project done before the end of the year, we'd have to put our order in by August 31st, which this, she was, as far as salesperson, she was very on the ball, kind of high pressure. I had to ask her for 3 amendments though to the final quote because the drawings didn't match what she quoted. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Also concerned that they're out of Florida.
yes, I think that's a bit far for us to take any action should anything be wrong.
They did a great drawing though. I mean, that was another staff favorite. So,
Which I didn't know what, they did a great job.
a drawing, a
Oh,
schematic, and yeah, I mean, it looks great. I tried to get everybody to put the benches on the inside of the
I
mulch
see,
so
yeah.
that we wouldn't have to mow around them. They didn't like that. I said,
Too bad.
but that increases the cost of your playground. I know it does.
I can't think that this one looks like it would accommodate kids that are any older though.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Do you think?
No, I think it's still, there's a little bit more climbing stuff on it.
Right.
But no,
So the shade goes over the whole thing.
yes.
That's nice,
Yeah, it is.
that's still, we'll have to move that shade in the winter because of snow and that stuff.
So, no, I think that stays up year round. As far as I know, Eminence, their shade does. One thing I don't like about the shade, yes, it's great that more is shaded, but those poles, I think are kind of a hazard for kids. Kids don't watch those when they're running. I could see, and I've seen it happen. Kids are running
Right.
those. I don't think we're obligated to put any cushion around them.
But they got a lot of equipment in that space, and I think that they use the space well.
Mhm.
And they came in at 97, a little over 97,000, so they were one of the cheaper options.
Well, it looks like their equipment altogether was less expensive than they issued you with discounts sometimes.
They
Is that-
did, the discount is only good until August 31st. Yeah, I don't know that they're gonna offer, in that time frame. I don't think they're gonna have somebody come and view the site and double check and make sure that measurements are gonna be.
We're talking about the,
Mhm.
well,
They also met all standards. Their warranty is pretty standard.
It says on the floor, the grant if we miss the August 31st deadline, will be next year before they can complete it.
Yep. Which could possibly happen with any of these people, depending on.
the things going on, you don't know if it's,
Any questions on that, or do you want to take more time on that quote? Okay. And then the last one is AAA. State of play. This was, I think this one got a few more staff thumbs up than the other one did. They're out of Indiana.
that's what the shipping cost to be in Indiana, what I thought was astronomical.
It is, you have to realize too, we're shipping over 40,000 pounds of equipment
Right,
too, so that.
And all of them.
right, that's what I was getting ready to say, in Florida, you're looking at probably shipping that same weight, and they're gonna do it for free.
Well, I think that they say that shipping's free, but they put in the
But it's
cost.
Oh,
of
I'm
it.
sure it's in there. I'm sure it's in there,
Yeah,
but you're getting,
yeah, I agree.
you know,
For these pictures that they got in here, are these different styles with the same price?
It's
Is
just
that what it's
different,
saying?
it's at a different angle.
Different angles, okay,
Different
so this is all one.
Yep.
Is there any place around here that any of these people have done any work?
Yes, we got
You could go and
references.
look at this,
We've got references,
okay?
closer references for, Playtopia and for the Indiana. Not as many for, creative recreational and BYO playground.
is there anywhere that Playtopia has done that somewhere we may have seen?
Oh, let me get their references. They provided 5. I'm sure that they got more than
And
that.
y'all just had one of these done at the school?
We are, well, Bedford Elementary had one done, what, summer before last? And then we're getting ready to do one at Dalton, hopefully later this fall.
Were they satisfied with the one they got?
That was,
Are they in here somewhere?
no, we use Miracle Playground equipment because it's a KDE approved vendor.
Okay, that's another question I have. What are the requirements to be a vendor?
There is none for libraries do not fall under any education or,
There's no requirements for anybody to go out there and work.
no, that's why we said you need to follow these standards. So all of them have to be follow. So ASTM is a commercial company that sets the standards nationally. And then IPMA comes in behind them and it says, goes into it and says, yes, this equipment meets those standards that were set. And then CPSC, if you're a government entity, is another safety net that says these are meeting these standards. Right.
Okay, and these are suppliers here. Do they install or do they use a contract?
They're charging us for installation.
All I know is that this is certified installation, so I'm assuming that, they at least have one person on site that is
Okay.
certified to be in charge of that project.
Which is what we did with the schools as well.
Well, but we didn't pay installation. We paid $1,000 for the engineer to be there for the day, and we had volunteer installation.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a big difference there, because you're paying one person for the day. So a whole group.
So this will probably have to, playground will have to be inspected probably annually. As for, and, Playtopia did say they have a certified inspector on site, which I don't know that that would be good to have them inspecting their own
You can't just-
equipment,
No. you
but
Can't inspect your own stuff.
No.
there might be a problem with that, but we can, with any of these companies, we're gonna have to find an inspector. to
I
come
will
in and-
say, schools are not inspected. Very often at all.
They're not?
And that might be a, it's not required, I don't know.
Yeah, once they say that, this is installed with the specifications that are required and they sign off on it, we find out at some point when there is an inspection, but I mean, it could be 5 years
Mhm, kind
or
of,
longer.
okay.
And then that's how we found out that Milton was not up to standard anymore. When it was installed originally, it was, but the equipment's like 30 years old.
The state has no requirements on annual inspections or.
Not to my knowledge.
Not with
Okay,
libraries.
all right.
We're kind of, there's not a lot of libraries with playgrounds, we're kind of,
Amazing.
I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
or maybe insane.
I'm on the cutting edge.
Either
Yes,
or.
you're trendsetters.
There you go.
But Florida and Indiana, their installation charges are double, almost double what the other two are. And that 16,000 was what Bedford was gonna charge if we hadn't had volunteers, so that's about what it is probably.
I don't know, is that because it goes up easier?
It's probably because they gotta pay airline tickets for all the ones to come.
Yeah, wherever they're
Yes.
coming from, they got,
To
did any of these people tell you how long it would take?
install?
Mhm.
No, we haven't gotten that part yet.
Sorry, go ahead, Becky.
It shouldn't take but a day or two. I mean, we did it in a day, but of course, we had some people come in and move the mulch around and stuff first, and we won't have to do that because there won't be any out there. And we poured concrete on site down in the beams or in the ground where they had to be stationed.
This is the earliest one is 12 weeks, which I looked at the calendar, that's mid-November. That's before it gets here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm thinking, so we installed this amazing playground and it's December, end of November, December. And
Winter
nobody's
time.
gonna be able to use it. Do we
Mhm.
want to put it off and kind of plan time-wise to have this done like March or April or May, or, when it starts to warm up, so the kids can go use the thing instead of watching it all winter from the windows? I don't know, that, I need to have that set up and then be like, nobody can use it, it's too cold outside.
You're not gonna get as good a job walking around out there in that mud trying to put this thing up. You gotta think about that.
Oh, in the
I mean,
spring?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, no, in the fall,
Oh, okay.
when the
Well,
rainy
the
season
spring
gets
is-
here.
the spring
The
is
spring
rainy
is too.
Yeah,
A lot
So
of them
regardless,
are,
it's
a lot
gonna
of them are gonna take a while to build.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what, guys, with the way that everything is going with COVID, I think we've got at least another 2, maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
Of this, we're not gonna be at a better place in December as far, and then we're still gonna have shortages on equipment, and so even if you do, we might not have a playground until spring.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is put it, and tell them, this is our timeline, we would like to have them, and then if you need to go ahead and order the stuff and have, have it paid for and done.
Remember, because I
But
said.
But not install
Okay.
until spring, when we can actually have a grand unveiling and a grand opening for the kids.
But that
and
was
that's
out
what
of
we
the
want.
spring,
to
or
do is
November.
really highlight
Right.
Yeah. I would just hate to have some grand opening in December, for a playground.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna.
So I could
But yes, I
also-
understand totally. Look, here's the money, and we want it done
Yeah.
in by this time, but go ahead and do what you gotta do to get it in line.
Because I'm
Sure.
kicking myself of not starting this project a year ago.
Oh, yeah, well, and the,
You know, because it would have been so great.
but Hannah, I agree, those kids are gonna be chomping at the bit to get out there.
I mean, mine will go play on it, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They
But
don't
I'm
care.
thinking like grand opening, like,
If
unveiling
you
it
go
to
with
the
Florida
public.
people, they're not gonna wanna be here in November, December.
Maybe they'll work faster.
Yes, that's true.
So I will say that Triple they put a lot of equipment in there. I'm a little bit concerned that they're over promising. So they use the whole space, the whole,
I like the way it looks,
yeah, it looks great.
and they're from,
Yeah.
Greenfield.
They did put in the foam pad, they did quote it, but that's a cost saver right there. We could cut it out. We take that out.
Put a what in there?
So we talked about putting a foam pad in this entry area for strollers, and
Oh, okay.
but it adds to the cost of the project considerably. Let's see, where does that cost come in?
It's the river safety tile, but $600.
Yeah, theirs is cheaper than the other people. I know Playtopia said it would be, their vendors are having trouble getting a hold of it. It
And
would
they don't have an orientation on here. Is this the way it's gonna
Right.
be sitting just like this? Is this just
Figure that out,
this is the
but
rocks
I
over
didn't pay
there?
for it in the
This is
past.
the road over there.
rocks, this is all
And
rocks.
this is the
this
pad
road.
about where the sidewalk was gonna come in.
Yep.
So that would be a nice little pad right off that sidewalk.
Mhm. Yep. So, and they did have a spinner on there, they added a spinner, they had the bumblebee and the green hopper.
What the staff think about that one?
That was we got some thumbs up on that one too. I think that we can choose, we might be able to choose different colors on that, not a huge fan of the gray and yellow, but
Aesthetically, yes, that's probably,
my
in
least.
my opinion, that's my least favorite.
Yeah,
As far as,
yeah.
you know, from what they've shown here, you would think they would look like super dressed up.
I like the tables, they look like.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do like that too.
That I do like.
What's this weird blue thing?
It's a spinner.
Oh, so you set the kid in and you said,
Yep.
okay.
Right.
That's the spinner. I was picturing like a merry-go-round.
So then you sit
Right, I was
and throw up all
Throw
over.
up on the playground.
So where's the pavilion?
The what? The pavilion is on this side, right here.
So this is turned.
Yeah.
This way.
We'll say there's one in
If
it.
this is sitting
Out
like
here,
this,
yeah, so it's,
the pavilion's outside over here.
if we're facing the pavilion right now, it would go it would be this way, so it would be, the pavilion is right here, our buildings. No,
Yeah.
this way, sorry. This way.
So this is where
Building
the
would be over
sidewalk is
here,
looking
I'm
coming
assuming,
in.
right? And then this
So
would
this
be.
would be on the right
pavilion
side of
over
where
here.
we had sidewalk and that.
Is that how you're looking at it?
And the building is.
Where they
coming
did.
in here. They don't even have the building.
thought you
on-
were
or the
looking
The
building's
building's
gonna
right
be-
here.
Oh,
Building's here.
why don't you share?
Side by
Here,
side.
I've looked at it already.
It's in there. It's a big area.
I'm watching them as they hold the things out.
I could have sworn. I thought it was.
Well, you passed one down, but
That
there was
little
only one.
storage
Oh,
Well,
tank.
you
I
should have
gave
just
it to
kept it. It's on Well, I've already looked at it. You can.
Okay. Yeah, that pad would be nice.
And it has
on either
Where the
side
gate
that
is,
sidewalk
would be the
is coming
pavilion.
in.
That's what I found, the gate,
Yeah.
right?
You didn't
Yeah.
want that.
So the pavilion would be here.
I'm not in love with the pad, I could take it or leave it.
Is that what you're saying?
It's
Where's the
gonna,
gate?
How
Oh, yeah.
much will, how much was the pad?
Can you look at it?
$2,500, I think.
25. Okay.
No,
So it'd be like this. Could we go into the gate?
no, it was 4,000.
So
Mhm.
I'll
The
turn it
tiles
upside down.
at 4,000, over 4,000.
And you're saying the pavilion is here?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So let those do with, is there anything we can do and then add on later? If you decide you want to change something, or is this it?
That, I had them quote all the whistles and bells, so
I
that,
mean, as far as the library or the financing goes, say you come up later and say, hey, we would like to add that, and we would, can we add stuff like that later, or is it a big deal?
I don't know, I don't have that experience.
I
The
mean, like,
equipment will ship from Indiana.
like
too.
get this all out there the way we want it, and
And
all of a
that's why I
sudden
wanted
you
to
say,
do
well,
the
this would have been nicer.
Yeah, why
if we
can't
had
they
this,
send
or
on
this, can you add on and
They
change
send on
stuff like-
semi
Not
cheaper
these
than
people,
$5.
I mean,
Yeah,
the library.
I don't understand that.
We might be able to
Financing and
negotiate.
stuff like that, or is this,
Yeah.
and this is it,
Very
this is it.
cheapest.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we can make modifications in the
Yeah,
same
that's what-
process.
yeah,
There's
well,
no
you
hidden
know,
cost.
Well, I
Anytime
think
you
she
make
said
major
existing
changes like
project.
that to a
Oh,
project,
okay,
you're
it was
gonna,
included in the price.
Yeah, if we ordered by the 31st.
I still think it's a good idea to do for it. I mean, I know that she does.
I don't know what this pad is, but it doesn't seem like much for,
a 20 by 25. It's not, it's basically an expensive entryway for strollers and,
25 to 25, and then 4,000.
Yes,
That don't sound,
Or wood.
that's why
wood
it's so
or
much
rubber.
no mulch in there.
That is the nice thing about.
Could it afford the tile, the whole, maybe you could do fabulous, how big is it, less messy, and it's
15 by 15.
flat, but
I don't know if I got that tall.
That wall by that wall.
the
That's
Well,
big.
square,
I vote for Indiana.
that comes in is rubber.
Me too.
Foam, and it's
I agree
comes
with
in
you.
Squares.
And they'll do it all.
Yep.
As far as you overall.
25 to
Yeah, the very
25,
first one.
$4,000.
I wonder if it would
I mean,
be-
Yes.
It's just raw-
It's also like 20,000 higher than the rest.
I think it's almost $20 per foot.
I don't know how much.
But it could be
Even
the
like
I mean,
size
if
of the
it-
looks and the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Better equipment on
20
I don't know.
20
Do we have a room for it?
20.
Yeah.
Right here, would you do it
Little
right
less
there, or
than
would you do it right outside the gate?
I do it right outside the gate. or something
Yeah,
like
but
there.
still,
that's where the
it don't seem like
pavilion
a
is.
bad price if you-
You have to walk up a little bit to get to the pavilion,
But-
right?
yeah.
There's some space between the pavilion and the gate, right?
Yes, and there's a little hill.
Okay,
Um,
no, that would be it. I was thinking instead of the very expensive foam pads, doing like a concrete slab right outside the gate where you could leave your strollers. And since you're pushing them there anyway.
Could do a mulch there, yeah.
Well, the
Strollers
strollers
don't go
won't push through the mulch is the thing, so if the pad's too expensive,
I didn't know if it
The
was more cost effective
concrete
to
would
do
be-
concrete just right outside the gate for strollers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the sidewalk will be the last thing, right? The last thing to
Sidewalk
do.
should be the last thing you do.
So if we wanted to have a little stroller pad on the outside, or a little place for people to put their stuff, or we could, that's something we can decide later.
how much was the pad on this one?
Well, yeah, awesome. On the AAA, it's 4,000, over 4,000.
Yeah.
Playtopia really advised against it because it's cost, and it would probably, they said their vendor was way behind, probably wouldn't be able to get it, it would slow the project down. BYO, yeah,
I
the,
just saw that 16 to 20 weeks
mhm,
with AAA.
mhm.
That's a long time. 20 weeks. is a long time.
Another month,
Mhm.
which if it doesn't come, I'm okay if it
5
doesn't get
months
done in
from
the
now?
spring.
Be 5 months
Because we've
from
got a
now.
lot of other work that needs to be done on this.
Oh, yeah.
We have electrical stuff to figure out, we have sidewalks to figure out.
Yeah, we gotta pick one first
pavilion.
before we can
Yeah.
decide what about all that.
What I would like to
Started.
do, at least tonight, is can we pick a designer and a company, and then we could invite them to a board meeting? If there's things that we want to adjust or amend, we could invite them here. It's almost like a huge building project. I didn't think it would be this big a deal.
Mhm.
It really is nuts. You know it's nuts.
What are we doing? Are we going to do, are we gonna do a motion on it? Are we just gonna say which two we wanna talk to, or what are we gonna do?
You're hoping that we pick the one.
I would like to have, just because number one, these quotes are good for 30 days.
Yes.
This is, if we put this off, that's a third quote. It's a lot of time, a lot of money for them, and it's a lot of work for me too.
And it's very hard to get them sometimes. Sometimes you might get lucky and a quote might be a little cheaper. But if it's more expensive, you're almost never gonna get them back to where they were before, because there'll be a change in the cost of steel or whatever material it is that they're building with.
Can we at least narrow, can we, creative recreational, the most expensive one, can we cross that off the list?
Yes.
Okay. I think so. Okay, I say Playtopia, keep it in the running. Okay. BYO Playground Florida, do you want to cross that off?
Yes.
Okay, so we got that down to 2. So State of Play or Playtopia, do you want to take a vote on that tonight?
Are you guys ready to vote on that? Do you know which one that you actually prefer those two?
Which one did you all, what's the staff?
Which one was your staff's number one? pick?
Playtopia, that was the number one pick. I think, AAA was, it was close between BYO and AAA.
But this one here did not give us a diagram of how it would be laid out on the, in the park, right? Or is that what this is?
That's what that is.
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
I thought it was how it went together.
That's actually what I thought.
Your instruction manual. Here's your instruction manual.
I'm not sure why we need this, but okay.
The Kentucky one did add a spiral, slide, you
Yes, they
said?
do, there is a spiral on
That's
that,
in
there's
the
four
picture?
slides. One of them is a spiral.
Okay.
I like too that there are basically slides for different age
Mhm.
children. There's a tiny slide for your toddlers. Or from the looks of it, that's what I'm seeing. And then for as they get a little braver.
And that was the stuff, this,
Yeah.
that you have the samples of was the Kentucky one.
Yes, that's Playtopia. Playtopia is this recycled product, which aesthetically, I think it gels well with their style of the building and the theme.
Another reason I like that is because I see the rust and the wear on the playground that we're getting ready to rebuild now, whereas if you go with the two, have the exterior painted metal holes, they will rust over time. And I don't see it. I look at that and I think indestructible. I mean,
Stephanie, where are you at?
I don't know, I'm wishing for the way to come down that shipping. Really, that's their only, to me, that's their only negative on there. But I do see some more, Playtopia has a little bit more for a little bit bigger kids. So I'm.
They have the rock climbing wall on that one, and I don't see it on the Indiana one. Is that, am I seeing it right?
What was that?
The rock.
The Kentucky one has that rock climbing wall.
Yeah, I don't think there's
That's
one, I was looking, the
There isn't.
Indiana one doesn't give a really good view. And I
Yeah,
don't
we
think it
don't-
doesn't appear to the rest of them.
We don't have as many, side views to that.
Right.
I think that was one of the requirements, that was a rock wall, so
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that on that other side, you're gonna get a rock wall.
It makes aesthetically, this looks more aesthetically pleasing,
yes.
far more than this. As far as
Which one?
Which one?
Do you think Indiana?
the triple.
Oh.
I like all the stuff that the AAA provides. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
lot
that's a
of
lot
stuff,
of
and
stuff.
it came in under budget from the Playtopia one.
Right.
And it had more.
Aesthetically, meaning the layout
The
of the plan.
placement and the layout and everything of it, which this doesn't give us much.
It looks like a lot of dead space.
Yes, it does look like a
in
lot
the
of dead
Playtopia.
space.
But although I like the design, I like
Yeah,
the colors and the
I like
design
the
of this
colors.
better.
Well, and honestly, I don't know.
Of that one as far as the overall look of that one, but I like the bang for your buck. I feel like you're getting with this one. Because even with that high freight cost, you're still coming in, that's your least
Under.
expensive option. I mean,
Yeah, do you guys not get this picture? Is that not in the quote?
yes,
Mhm.
Is it?
Which this one,
This
that's
one,
in Playtopia.
that's
Yeah.
Yes, this is Playtopia.
Yeah.
And that, I mean,
I didn't think Playtopia had a rock wall either, but when you see
It
one of the
does.
other directions, you can see it over
Yeah.
Mhm.
on the other side.
and
There it is. Can we confirm with AAA whether we have a rock wall, like a climbing wall? Because like even when you look over top of it, right here where it's got the diagram, everything is pretty much listed, but there's no rock wall listed.
Okay.
So,
Well, that is something that we can like amend.
I mean,
Say,
other than
you
that, I
know-
kind of really like AAA, it's kind of under budget and not about that.
well.
This one, I think that there is a playground schematic, and it was saying, maybe that perhaps I forgot. Did you guys get this?
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, I like that
Doesn't show
one.
me much.
I was gonna,
Oh, yeah.
overall, plus the staff preferred it. So,
I'm just kind of wondering if Kentucky's put it together really quickly and they might be able to It's.
Draw it out and make it look a little fuller instead of,
I'm okay with either one.
Well,
I like that material
I do too, a lot.
and,
and
Like
then
it's gonna last.
Playtopia,
Mhm.
that was Playtopia.
So we can make changes to the shade too. We can try to cut costs, like you said, the mulch. With Triples A, we can cut off that foam pad area if you want to get rid of that and just do all mulch. That would bring the price down even further. And they're already the lowest.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
they're
if that's
below
something that
the
you want,
It's like almost half the price of Playtopia.
So at Playtopia, we do not have the pad in the quote,
No,
and we don't know
They
how much
would-
it is.
they said that it would just slow
And
the project down
okay.
considerably.
It doesn't make sense that it would slow the project down.
maybe it's,
Because the vendor,
But
they
they
want to
weren't able to
buy
get
it
it.
from their vendors.
Their vendor, yeah.
Because of that, because it's the good material. Sometimes you gotta wait for it.
Well, and this is made in Kentucky. They have a factory there.
It's
and it's made-
19,400 recycled plastic containers.
kind of say, I do like that. Michelle's like, she's like, I'll sell you guys on this, you just like.
No, I don't care.
I'm teasing.
I don't have anybody anymore that plays on the playground. I mean, I can bring my grandkids up here.
Still.
That
I wish we
recycle,
had
that
kids
recycle goes
up
up that
and
like.
we have kids go play. Which one do you like better?
What would
Look
your kids play with more?
37,000 on AAA, the metal plastic 18.
Yeah.
That like doubles the cost just because you.
That- I bet you that that will
I
last.
do too.
That one, but I
Looks and.
love how, I love how busy this one is. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kids get bored of it, so they go to this, and then they get bored of that, and they go to that. You know,
Yes.
you can constantly
This is
read.
quite dope.
But is there more things in this?
I mean,
You
the-
think, than this?
They have the sit
I do want to see if
down.
we can switch up these colors.
we don't have that.
I'm not understanding that.
It
I
just
agree
looks
with Trimble
better.
A.
But
It's
there's
like
more
a big
stuff in here, I
messy
guess.
one. Yeah,
And it could just be,
It's
But
the
they-
imagery
because
is the one.
where are these, they're pointing out here.
yeah,
So they
Color.
are adding things.
What they
in.
showed
Yeah.
us.
I'm,
they have those
I'm
two
okay.
and a balance beat.
Hmm?
But that,
I'm
other
okay
than the
with-
playground, that's all they've got.
Hannah's in charge there.
I'm sorry.
Hannah asked if you guys are ready to talk about.
Oh, what do you guys think? Let's say the Playtopia, let's do the Playtopia one.
What if we're 20? Can we get you both? And whoever gets the most? Oh, gosh.
Is there anybody that's leaning towards one only?
Me, I'm leaning more toward AAA. But that's,
Stephanie's AAA, so 1 and 2.
As long as we can make sure that there's a climbing wall, I would like to make sure that that's, if it's not there, how much more would it put on the
Well,
project?
if you look at the panels, because those panels, or even though it's a certain design, those panels can be, are changed in and out. So I can't imagine it would be more than $1,000 for a climbing wall. I don't think you're gonna add. But if it did change the quote considerably, I think I'd come back to the board meeting or we call a special meeting real quick and say, hey, this is the cost.
Right. And that's doable. All right.
And are you leaning strongly either way?
Some of the things are 50/50. I love this in the Playtopia, and I love the design of it. But the AAA, I don't know why it just seems busier to me. It seems like a lot more to do.
that
kids.
Well, and I was concerned that the use zone might not be mapped out right. And they're
They may have
putting
too much in there.
So that was a concern.
Yeah, that's something to think about too. If they're being overly optimistic about what they can get in there and still be usable, playable space.
well, but the way they got these things circled, it makes it look that it's bigger than it is. The actual piece of equipment is very small,
Right.
Right.
so.
And we were thinking it was gonna be some extra room out there anyway, I think. Like that wasn't at first gonna be taken up by.
It's just a weird space. Yeah,
It's kind of rough.
it's just weird.
Okay, Michelle, which way are you leaning? Because we're, Hannah and I are on the fence.
You told all the people that bid that a rock wall was to be in it.
Mhm.
Because, so you said that was one of the requirements.
That was, but at the same time, this is one that the staff originally liked, so, and we originally quoted. I would have to go back and look through there.
The staff liked either one, but they liked the Playtopia the best.
Yes. By 2 votes.
You guys, how many voted?
If it's four.
And that's the thing, I gave them, say, pick your 2 favorite things, 2 favorite ones, so they
Yeah.
both had 2 options, and it was Playtopia, it was in BYO, and it was split across BYO and AAA. I'm just not seeing another view of that,
Well, and
in her quote.
you know what, since nobody else has, I will go ahead and come down on the side of Playtopia, because I still like the Kentucky thing.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna pick Playtopia myself, because I think that material is gonna last a lot longer than metal that rusts.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm okay with whatever you. Oh, well,
So what do we have? Yeah, me too. You're right. Just saying, I do like the idea that being a Kentucky company made in Kentucky. And
and they didn't put any shipping, or no,
there is a shipping cost, but it's not astronomical.
2,900.
So it comes down to, you know,
I'm going to Playtopia.
I have to make a motion, guys, and put it on the record.
Well, but what's Dudley want?
Yeah, Dudley, so he,
I'm
do you
not
have,
in
would you like to share your opinion?
We still drink it.
Huh?
We still
Oh,
drink
because
I
he
can't
hasn't,
vote.
because he hasn't taken the oath yet, he's not, okay.
Yeah, no, but we can.
we can take it into consideration.
Well, you're the construction person. so-
I would have to go with the AAA, but I would sure call them up and find out if this is a typo. This $8,000 shipping, you can go across the nation cheaper than that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Something's wrong there.
Semi,
That's
semi.
wrong.
I agree. I agree.
But-
That's the only hang up I have about them, really.
But if it wasn't, yeah,
And when you go with that because of the cost or just
That's
the whole
something that-
layout and
I just like the way they got it all jammed together. I do, I like that. You can all, you know.
So what is your pick? Honestly,
um,
Oh,
her, yes.
oh,
honestly, I probably would go with Playtopia, but I had a great experience with the salesperson. I like that they're in Kentucky. I really think supporting Kentucky businesses right now is really important. But I would be happy with either.
Are you happy with either? If, I mean, would you
I will go with whatever y'all want to do.
Well,
My
I
preference
will.
is to be triple A.
Definitely has more slides. I know coming from, I have grandbabies and I'm telling you, and I know there's probably not room for this, but most places, if we pull up to it and they don't have at least 1 or 2 swings, my 5-year-old will look at me and be like, I don't want to stay here, dude. They don't have a swing. So, you know, there's got to be plenty to keep them occupied, climb on, you know, whatever.
Well, and that's true. I wish we could have some kids input on this because they're the ones that are gonna be,
Exactly.
yeah, no,
It'd
I,
be fun to be able to take a group of them here and there where there's different ones set up and see which one they prefer. or we
No, you said last time.
yeah, as an adult visually, the Playtopia is way more pleasing to the eye for me. It's
Yes,
Right,
aesthetically.
right.
yes.
To a kid,
Are we gonna stick with that?
So what if we did the Playtopia but requested more stuff in it? I mean, I know you're already at 98,000, but I mean,
Well, then you're gonna
Having
be up
stuff
to
is-
your,
yeah.
having stuff is in there.
the very first one. That one.
Well, I mean, it depends
Creative
on,
recreational is gonna be up there.
And they didn't quote a sit and spin. did they?
they did not.
The only
sit and
ones
spin.
that did that was.
The only structures they had were the swing riders, the balance beam, and they did have a teeter totter. Whereas there's no teeter totter in AAA, but they have a sit and spin.
And they didn't,
Yeah, there's one in AAA right here. Isn't that what this is?
Oh, is there?
It's the teeter totter that there's not one.
Was it not
They're not-
quoted?
It's not
Uh,
quoted.
no,
It's not quoted, and that's some of the, she left off,
It
Yeah.
shows in the schematic that there's a
but it's
teeter
not
totter.
quoted.
So did the Playtopia say they don't have a sit and spin?
They just didn't quote one. They didn't put any extra whistles and bells in their quote. AAA, they did, and it looks like on the schematic, there is a teeter totter, but they did not quote one. So this quote is not accurate if you put all that's in the drawing in there.
Oh, so it could be more
Mhm.
than, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Cause this teeter totter is $886.
yeah.
About $900 would be roughly for a teeter totter, I'm guessing.
How much?
About $900 for a teeter
Because the
totter.
difference is in the two, well, in the top bidder, it's still, it's $25,000, so.
And I'm looking at, like, okay, say for instance, the balance beam, there's a balance beam on both. State of plays is, or AAA's is like, what, $40 less? As far as that one piece of equipment, I'm thinking adding more equipment, like how much, you know, kind of weigh that.
Like nothing that can do cost for step on all of it.
So I want you guys to consider this too. We also have to fence this,
Mhm.
okay? So we're gonna have to cover with AAA, we have to cover that extra triangular space up on the U shape. And so, because yes, it is cheaper for the play thing, we're gonna have to add lighting and fencing to that area too. So that adds, I mean, it adds cost in different places. How much, I don't know. I haven't quoted fences yet. I do know that the fence out there in the backyard was an 8-foot fence and it cost us $10,000 and that was 4 years ago.
Well, and that's, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, you're right, there's things on here that aren't in this or on this,
Yep, so I don't feel like this is,
an accurate.
and I tried to really be close and look at things. I had to get her to quote the sit and spin because it wasn't on there originally.
The teeter totter.
It showed, but it's not on there.
And
But even with adding that, it's still not gonna be, even though you add a sit and spin or a teeter totter or both, it's still not gonna be, like thousands lower, you don't think, than the Playtopia?
stop looking at it, it's hard to tell, because there are like, I was trying to do cost comparisons to their, like, their Frog and Double B Rider, you're looking at Playtopia looks to be, what, $640-ish more. But then you look at the cost of their balance beams, and their balance beam is like, another 20-something, $30 more.
Yeah, some of the costs
So
are
it's kind of
similar.
hard to be able to say, is it gonna raise it by the same amount that it is over here? Or is it gonna be more or less? I don't know.
The Playtopia though is made out of that recycled material versus the metal plastic,
Yeah,
so they're gonna be more expensive, I'd say.
yes, that is why they're more
Pieces.
expensive.
Their benches and seating was more expensive too, but they also look more sturdy.
Yes.
These bad boys are gonna handle some weight
Mhm.
on them.
All right,
But-
so
Go ahead and let's vote.
are we still thinking? Okay. All right, so,
It's gonna be expensive, guys, either way.
oh,
I mean, you're either gonna spend, extra $7,000 on playground, or you can spend an extra couple $1,000s on fencing.
Mhm.
Is the extra on fencing because the AAA juts out for the.
Mhm,
like,
'cause there's more stuff.
There's more.
I'm going with Playtopia. Are we going around the room?
Yeah, so we're doing a game for round. I don't know. All right, Hannah, go.
Y'all go first.
I'll say Playtopia still.
So, Playtopia, Andrew's still Playtopia, you're still at AAA, Bethany?
Oh, honestly, as long as the kids get one, it really don't bother me. It's fine.
We need to vote.
Yeah, we need to vote.
Yeah.
You actually have to say which one we're voting.
Either way, your vote's respected and honored. I think.
Yes.
There's no
Yes,
hard
there
feelings
is
here
no-
at whatsoever.
You don't have to, yeah.
Well, there's obviously not gonna be a tie, so I'm gonna vote for AAA. There won't be a tie, so it'll be fine.
Sam, are you still at, yeah? Okay.
But like I said, I can do whatever y'all want to do. It
Right,
doesn't
yeah,
matter
it
to me.
really doesn't matter.
So,
So it's up to you
It's
then.
up to
I'll
you,
go
Hannah.
Playtopia just because of the quality of the, what this is made out of.
I like that. I will see if I can get him when he comes to measure the property. We'll try to schedule one on a board meeting day and see if that's our board meeting.
Oh, that'd be
Meeting.
perfect.
So, I'll make a motion that we approve playground quotes for Playtopia. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah,
Because
I did, yeah, we do need a motion for that.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Oh, no, go ahead. Angel. All in favor? This is competitive, this bidding process.
Yes.
And you show him AAA's and say, look at all they got us. You think you can get us some more stuff put in our play area?
I will say that you
If it's
can
competitive.
usually negotiate with them.
Mhm.
I mean,
Because
So.
there's a big cost difference there and they, you know.
And they're
so
closer, well, maybe not. Depends on
Let
where
me be
they
clear
go.
that,
The Greenfield is not that far.
No,
so we are not approving the quote as is, we are approving the playground company.
yes, and maybe tweaking, what do you, I mean, do you think?
I'm not gonna figure this one out. It's up to you. I was just saying, that was my only downfall with AAA versus Playtopia was that they didn't have as much fun stuff for the kids to do. You know,
Right.
and if you can show them quotes and say,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
we're going local,
Yeah, that
or,
might
you know,
be-
we could have gone to
It's all-
Indiana.
That's,
We could have gone to
yeah.
Indiana.
When you do it,
We
say,
could
hey,
have, look
yeah,
at this
you
quote
can't-
that AAA showed
Right.
us.
No, she
Hey,
said
we would
everything.
like to have, yeah.
Mhm.
So,
What that means is we didn't approve a price, so what that means is that we'll have to go back to them, and we'll negotiate. I'll try to get them up with another, amount, and we're gonna have to have, because the quote's only gonna be good probably for 30 days, unless he says, yeah, it's okay until next meeting, we might have to have a special meeting.
So in this packet, before we move on, Playtopia, I did not see like stepping things or there's like literally only two little extra items along with the playground.
They have a balance beam, the two spring riders, and a teeter totter, instead of the stepping, yeah, so they had.
the
they have
teeter
four.
totter isn't in the
Right.
picture, right?
No, I don't
The
think it
teeter
showed
totter is not
everything
in
in
the
their picture, whereas I think AAA showed more than they had listed.
Yeah.
The teeter
Oh, wait,
totter's
yes,
not
it
in the
is.
schematics
Is it on
either.
there?
No, it's not, but it's listed.
Yeah, it's quoted, but there is no teeter totter even in the schematics, not just the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's why it looks blank to me. Maybe if they added a teeter
Maybe
totter,
they
I would be more
maybe
sold on
They
it.
just forgot to add it to the
The
schematic
picture.
and they put it in
Yeah.
the quote.
Okay. So I will talk with them about pricing and see, we'll call a special meeting if needed. Hopefully they'll wait until our next board meeting. We don't have to come back. I did reach out to, got, one electrician to respond to my request for a quote. I asked for all of the whistles and bells on this. He did recommend putting a ceiling fan in the pavilion, especially in the summer. Yeah, I agree. And, so he included all the circuits for that, the ceiling fan. Two 120-volt receptacles, a key switch so that kids could go out and turn on the fans and things, so it required a key to turn that on. If we want to extend light out to the playground, he suggested 3 12-foot light poles with LED lights, similar to the ones that we have out here. He quoted that, he didn't price them, but I'm guessing they're pretty penny. He also suggested along the walkway when we get that done, so that we put bollard lights up, so light up the pathway. Just in case, you know how companies are liable if somebody gets injured.
Right, well, and honestly, I mean, it does start getting dark
Yeah.
pretty early when it's still plenty warm enough for kids to play
Fall,
outside.
Yep.
So,
So he will have to do underground conduit for that, to run the electrical, and while he's doing that, we would run conduit for any future security camera projects or, internet, if we wanted to ever put internet. So that it was all done at once. So that is gonna, he quoted that project at over $22,000.
That sound reasonable for you, Dudley?
I didn't,
Does
I
that
was
sound
still
like a?
reading all this, yeah.
We're not, I think that's gonna be one of the last things that we could do. Plus, because the playground is not gonna be done in the next, I guess, pricing is gonna be different, but this, we need to keep this in mind. I think we should table this, and I'll reach out to other electricians.
but is that the basic, that 24,000, is that the quote, basic quote that he gave you, not including, the pole lights, or did that include the?
That does.
Oh, it
include
does?
That's all the whistles and bells. Yeah. And he is the electrician that did our wiring for our LED light, or sign out there.
And who is it?
Wayne Long. So I reached out to our other electrician and he wasn't available to do a quote, so, but just keep that in the back of your mind, that's another $25,000 right there.
Is he gonna be here when they come to lay out, whoever gets this? They're gonna need to lay everything out there, and that electrician's gonna need to be here to make sure what they put, he can get to and
I-
around and
I don't think that the electrical work will be in the inside of the park. It will be on the outer edge.
everything
Yeah,
on the outside.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's my understanding.
okay.
Another thing is fencing suggestions, and even I was looking at the two, that's what those are, fence panels from Lowe's. There's just pictures, instead of a chain link fence, it looks like a prison. We could do something like that with just the straight poles. We have that around our children's area in the back. You could do 5 foot, if you wanted to put if we go lower, you put the spiky things on top. And then nobody's
They
playing in that.
intimidate me.
I don't like
kids
the
trying to
spiky
climb
things.
over there. That's what I'm doing. I'm
No.
like, that's what I did. She looked up, I'm like, oh.
No spiky things on top.
Okay, so do you like
That's a
this?
mom of a boy.
Yeah.
Do you like a straight top better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And because I can price that too. It's about, you want 5 foot? That's kind of standard.
Yeah.
4 to
Some
5
of those panels too, some of those are 4 foot, I think.
4 to 5 foot is,
4 to 5.
How tall is the one in the back?
I think it's about 4. It's, yeah, it doesn't come up to my shoulders.
Yeah.
About 5 foot, 4 to.
I mean, kids are monkeys,
Yeah.
it's deterred them, you're not gonna keep them off of it.
Well, I think of what is our main goal? Do we want to keep people out or do we want to keep people in?
But
If you- I know, so if you want to keep them out, you need to go higher.
Yeah,
if it's spikes on.
yes, and the spikes on it. And hope the parents are watching.
Yes, barbed wire.
Razor blade.
Yeah.
Yep.
You razor wire?
Yeah. It's probably cheaper.
Yes.
Than the black metal.
I know we're running late today. The doors out front were worked on. That cost was about $160. They're working properly now. Staff has requested a new shelving unit for the children's area. Picture of it is there. We have one just like it. We'd like it to expand our new display for new books and increase displays for our non-fiction area, which is not getting checked out very well. And that's one of the best ways to do that, is to create face out displays. KPC did our original work in the library with all of our furniture, and they gave a quote at $1,861 for that. That does not include freight, and it does not include, we've got to have some of these meeting tables, the legs are broken. We need to get those fixed. I'm not sure if that will be covered in the warranty or not. But when they come out, they're gonna do everything. I just need your approval you're okay with that.
I'll make a motion to approve the quote.
A second.
All in favor? Anybody opposed?
Did we make a motion on the lights? We didn't, did we, on the
No, we're
electrical?
gonna table that. and
Oh,
get
we're
more
gonna
quotes.
table it?
Hotspots are, still waiting to get those out. They're almost ready to go, just need to upload those to a portal so we can manage them. Verizon is, we're waiting on them to get that going for
How
us.
many, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's on me, how many gigs are yours a month?
It's, unlimited data at 4G.
I was unlimited, because they were 100% free. We have 1 gig is what we're giving our students, 1 gig a month.
Yeah, so the students are not gonna be able to stream or anything on it, it's gonna be
No,
solely
it's gonna
for.
be solely for schoolwork, you go on, you download, you turn it off, you do your work, you turn it back on, you upload.
Which with ours, we monitor them and we can tell if you're streaming
Mm-hmm.
and then we have a conversation with them.
Yes, I know that it can be, and that's, we have an agreement that we're having parents and child sign, stating it is for homework purposes, not for streaming purposes. Had a couple call me today requesting them, and I'm like, kids don't have homework,
Yeah.
how can you Netflix? But anyway, no, I talked to both principals today at the elementary schools. We are actually holding on to ours for a little bit. They are both proceeding school going virtual.
Mhm.
So,
So I know we had a great relationship with, last year with the school, and they communicated to us that, so if it's into a situation where T-Mobile doesn't work in an area, we are holding on to those. We're not just giving those out to just everybody. So give us a call, and they have to be working with Kentucky Works rep or enrolled in school or a GED program.
perfect.
I did apply for the emergency connectivity funding, by August 15th, that was the deadline, or we should be hearing, something from them and get reimbursed about $1,500 for that. Oh, and then the copiers, the lease is up. And so I know this is exhausting, I'm so sorry. It's not usually like this, I promise. It's just exhausting. So our lease is up and we need to figure out new copiers. Our current copier is listed at the top for the staff area or the public area. It's 45 copies per minute and it has a fax line. We wanted to buy it and go another year, it would probably make it, but we're starting to see networking issues and glitching, you know? And we also are seeing more interest in mobile printing and it's great to have a stapler on it too, a finisher. So they quoted us a new machine at $5,919, which if you purchase outright, if you didn't want to spend the money, it would cost around $6,009. And then the copy, the black and white would be listed, I don't even know how to say that. It's like a 0.005 cents per
Yes.
copy.
So it's 5 cents or 55 cents.
Yeah.
Yes, and colors are 0.055 cents per page, so very, very reasonable in copies. If we bought it outright, there would be no monthly maintenance or service agreement fee, is my understanding.
But then if you buy it right and then it does. with-
Oh, actually,
then
yes, there will be, there'll be
Yeah.
a cost.
You have to pay.
It's about a $300 service fee just to show up.
So if we lease it for $115 a month, then we're paying per copy?
Yes.
We still have to pay for copy, but it covers all of our toner. If a drum goes
Okay.
out, it covers that. There's no cost to us.
If you still have the
That's the
service
public,
fee,
that's the
With
one.
that.
on public.
Yes.
if you lease.
No, we don't. That's our cost per month. $115 plus
That's kind of a
black and white.
no-brainer on that end to me. If you pay $300 for every service call and that covers your ink toner, drums,
Mhm.
I mean,
That's
I don't think we can get those good at school.
Yeah.
I know when it pops up, tells me I'm paying every time that I have to go.
Got another quote from Duplicators Sales, but they were almost twice as much. I'm like, I would love, Ricos are awesome machines, but not for $5,000 more. I would recommend replacing the public copier with the new Xerox C8154.
And you're okay with leasing it?
Yeah, I'm okay with leasing it if you guys are. I don't like leasing, the word lease.
And
You can pay for it, great, but because it's attached to that service agreement.
Yeah, because the first time it gets jammed up and you can't fix it,
it's $300.
Yeah.
at least 300.
And if you own it, then you may have, if it's not a warranty issue, like a part, then you may have to buy something on top of that to repair it.
Yep, so what will happen is when they bring the new piece of, the new copier, they'll just pick up the old copier. and
We've
take
been
it off.
leasing it, right?
We have been leasing it. If we wanted to buy that outright and donate it to another organization, we could. It would cost us about $945. We'd have to move it. And
It's already having issues with it, somebody else, it would be their problem.
it probably has some life left, but not worth.
I agree.
I make a motion to lease a Xerox C8154 on the monthly 5 years. All in favor?
Okay, so our staff is the same thing. We would like to upgrade a little bit, have a little bit fancier in the back where we have a 3-hole punch and a booklet maker. If we can't have those things, I would say go back to the standard $5,000 machine or $6,000 machine that we just bought, that we just accepted.
But we would be okay with the $144 lease a month.
That would be $144 each a month.
In the same deal, as
Same.
far as, yeah.
It covers the paper too?
No,
Okay, we have.
the printing of the copies.
Yeah.
It covers the ink and the drums and the toner and all that, which to replace the drum is about
And the
$600.
staples,
Yes.
and the
It is
staples, right?
insane.
It would probably- The staples probably. come
You might
with
as well just throw it in the garbage and
I
buy
know,
a new
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I think that one too.
And then duplicator sales, again, they were $4,000 or $5,000 more. And I,
Nice machines though.
yes, they're amazing machines, and, we went really fancy and thinking we increased the speed, and it was like $14,000, like, no, that's not worth 15 more
We
copies
don't
per
make that much
minute.
copies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I'll make a motion to accept the Xerox quote for the C8145.
A second.
All in favor?
That was only on there one motion, though, wasn't it?
There's two.
There's two. It's at the bottom of the page.
Oh,
The
I
previous
see.
page.
I put it
Sorry.
on one.
Is there anything? That's all I have for you guys. If anybody has any concerns or before we head out.
I just want to say thank you all. It's been an honor. I have loved every single second of serving on this board, the good times and the bad times.
Well, just remember when your time is over to wait, lay out, if you come back.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Julianne, could you close the meeting out? Or Hannah, could you close this and then we'll?
Yep.
Because I do want to
I'll make
make
the-
a quick presentation.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:15.
Did we get a second?